I would say that feminism is a deep belief that both men and women experience the world very differently due to their gender, and by recognizing that difference, I think that's the first step in changing it. I would definitely say that I first learned about feminism on a very second-wave basis, but as I've developed and gone through education and so forth, I would definitely identify myself as a third feminist in a way that I definitely believe in the idea of choice, and the idea of it being a buffet style where I can choose, I guess, more feminine roles as well as more masculine or traditionally masculine roles. For example, I definitely think that I can still be a social worker, which is still feminine, and still be a feminist, and I still think that I can choose, I could still choose to be a stay-at-home mom if I wanted, but still be a feminist. That feminists range in various sizes and shapes and colors and so forth. The one that was left being a mother, I would definitely say is more of a traditional role as a woman, but she could still definitely be a feminist in terms of the way that she raises her child and the way that, I have no idea if she is a mother as well as a CEO or something, so she can definitely be a feminist. As for the woman on the top, she is at the computer, and she can also be a feminist. She's definitely obviously working very hard, actively, probably pursuing some type of career or education. The male on the bottom, I want to say that he, I think on a very second wave feminism, I think would say that he wasn't a feminist in terms of equality, but he could be a feminist. And the woman or the couple on the right, Paris Hilton, and she could be a feminist too, but the thing with feminism is that the definitions vary from person to person. Yes, I totally have. Again, like I mentioned earlier, feminism is very diverse in terms of definition, number one. Number two, I also believe in choice, and if a woman chooses to wear a short skirt versus wearing pants, it doesn't make her more or less of a feminist, because ultimately what you're doing when you say that you're not a feminist because you're wearing a short skirt is ultimately indoctrinating the idea that patriarchy or the idea of what men think of us is ultimately defining what feminism is and what it's not. And I'm a firm believer that women have choices on what they do. Yes. Once or twice. I definitely think that a second wave feminism traditionally would have a problem with that, but as someone who identifies myself as the latter, or just as a feminist in general, there's nothing wrong with someone offering you a drink. I think the problem lies in the fact of if you think that you're entitled to a drink. And I don't feel entitled, and if someone wants to offer a drink to me, whether it's male or female, I'll definitely offer. I'm a poor college student. But beyond that, in terms of gender, I think it's a matter of what your intentions are. But on a very exterior basis, I don't think anyone could conclude whether or not you're more feminist or not. The biggest difference between second wave versus third wave, in my opinion, is that second wave, we're often battling with men. Men are I guess there's opposing sides. Men are the ones that we're trying to fight. We're trying to be equal. We're trying to have all the same rights as men. And the difference is that I don't want the same rights as men necessarily. I want to be able to work with them. I don't want to fight with them. And I think third wave feminism is more of this idea of reality is we are two different genders, but I want to work with you. And I don't see you as the attacker or the one I'm trying to prove myself against. If anything, I'm trying to prove myself against myself as opposed to a certain sex or a certain gender. Feminism is for everybody.